Yes, that's the way it is. So you're supposed to get a good education, do what you're told in an educational system that's being manipulated by this same gaggle of merciless thugs, this handful of evildoers at the top that would stop at nothing to get their way and to continue to get their way. And I could point to one evidence after another of them having done this. Do you think if JFK or Martin Luther King Jr. had gotten their way, America would be in the mess it is today, with this great wealth disparity, this great concentration of wealth that keeps happening as I speak right now? No, it wouldn't have happened. No. And so the next thing, you end poverty. So we've got crime is down the tubes. So just think of all the jobs out there that would disappear. All these people say, well, hey, well, we can't let that happen. That's our jobs. Do you understand what they've done to us? They've made us psychotic. I'm not psychotic because I see, but you've got to really try. You've got to say, God, help me. Help me to break free from the control of these money masters. Help me to see how they've duped me. Help me to get to the bottom of this charade and help me to get out of it. Help us all to get out of it. God, help humanity, because we've all become evil. We're all under a curse. You think I don't spend money? I get it. I get it. But I'm just saying there's a way to negate these people's power. And I'm telling you what we've got to do. We've got to come together. If we just shared the assets of this planet right now, there'd be more extra stuff than any of us could ever use, and our kids, right today. We don't have to get out there and go build a bunch of stuff and get productive. I'm saying now, look at, there's plenty of cruise ships out there. Look at all the advertising. Come take a cruise. There's plenty of airplanes out there. How many jumbo jets have empty seats? No, but instead, we're told, oh, it's about money. That's why you got to drive on roads with potholes that bust up the front end of your car. It's about money. It's about money why, the jets aren't safe, or why they can't have parachutes. I saw a plane. I never saw this before in my life. There's a plane. They got a parachute on the plane. Had engine troubles, and the plane gently floated to the ocean. Okay, why can't they do that with a jumbo jet? They can. They'll cite money, right? The highways can't be safer because of money. No, now they want to control your car. They want to say, oh, well, now you don't even have to drive a car anymore. It's safer and all this. And well, the insurance companies might get mad about that, right? Because they're going to say, well, those are our jobs. If people didn't ever crash their car, who would get insurance? You understand? So the whole thing is hitting a pinnacle, a climax, okay? It's coming to a head, okay? And it's an exciting time to be alive, but we really got to keep fighting a good fight. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. The only way, it's not going to be through a political solution. The only way humanity is going to get some reprieve is if we can get control of the money printing operation. That's it. That's their assets. Okay? If they don't have that, we say all those dollars you've hoarded, whether it be on the digital screen or, no more. Because we're resetting the economy here. And we're going to reset it to reality. We're not going to take from you. We're not going to the Robin Hood thing that just creates animosity to take from the haves and give to the have-nots. No. But we're going to reset economic reality. We're going to have sound currency. Do you understand how this is going to work? We're going to have a realistic work week based on productive jobs. Do you understand that the vast majority of jobs out there are utterly unproductive? List them. Talk the entire financial services industry. 25% of Americans employed in that industry. Unproductive jobs. Okay, there's the debt. See, without poverty, people don't go in debt, right? That's for poor people. They need to borrow money. But no, it's been turned around. Now it's all about people using that. They use other people's money, which is socialized money that you and I have to insure. And the way they do that is by debasing our currency through cost of living inflation, because the rich sure don't pay for it. So when these people lose their butts under the pretense of capitalism, which as everybody knows, there's a couple elements to capitalism that have to be there for it to truly be capitalism. And one of those elements is risk. If you're stupid and foolish and you overextend yourself as a capitalist, you should lose your butt. That's a natural check and balance on capitalism. That's why in 2008, over 90% of the American people wanted the bankster money printing class to fall on their faces and lose their behinds. But no, did they let that happen? No, because the politicians stepped in as the saviors, right? These puppets of these money printing class. They know which side their bread is butter on. These are their jobs. And again, more useless jobs out there. So what do we got? The insurance industry, we got the banking industry, and now we got, like Eisenhower warned about, the military industrial complex who's running it like a business. Now, I'm not saying there's not just war that we need to get involved in. I'm all about protecting women and children and the weak and the disabled and handicapped, all these people. I get that. As a man, I get that. And I'm all for it. But a normal man doesn't need to be conscripted to do it. He'll go kick Hitler's butt of his own free accord. He doesn't need any coercion through, the reward system of paying you. Oh, you understand how they manipulate us with this money? Okay, let's think of some other industries out there that would disappear that are utterly unproductive. They're not building your houses. They're not bringing you water. They have nothing to do with bringing you energy. They have nothing to do with growing your food or transporting your food or your clothing, building your clothing or anything else. They're all useless jobs. So imagine if we had a realistic work week with people doing just jobs that were useful and productive, making stuff we wanted. Do you understand how it would work and how this entire paradigm would be turned about 180 degrees? 180 degrees, okay, folks? That's the reality. And you know how different that would look? So you might think it's far out. You might think that, I've gone off the deep end. I'm a pipe dreamer, idealist, whatever you want to call me. But I'm not, okay? I'm not the crazy guy here. I've studied economics long and hard. I'm the kind of guy that likes to keep things simple and get to the bottom of things. Okay, when I read Adam Smith's book, the famous economist, The Wealth of Nations, and I pick out those little tidbits that prove to me I was right all along. My natural economic instincts were correct all along. What Adam Smith points out point blank, this is a man, mind you, that devoted his life to the study of economic principles and what's going on, just economic theory, the whole bit, how it works through empirical evidence, just observing it all. Okay, and he stated that labor is every nation's greatest asset, bar none, incontrovertible fact. Okay, that's the reality we got to see. And today, we'd have about a 5-hour work week with people doing productive jobs of their own free will, not be born beholden to anybody, doing it where they want, when they want, how they want, for who they want, anytime they want. That's it. And we'd be far more productive than we are right now, because all these people spinning their wheels doing these jobs that don't do anything for humanity would be rendered irrelevant. Okay? And it doesn't matter, because we're all one family, we're all brothers and sisters. So it's not like I'm saying I'm going to take anybody's prosperity. I want to add to it. I want you to understand that we've been duped in the head. We've been made crazy by these people. And that the fact of the matter is, if we were adhering to God's simple principles of just loving and honoring Him above all, the only one to be afraid of, to be reverent of, is Him. This is the only one we owe homage to, that we should feel an instinct to be beholden to, is our Creator. It's rightful. We're owned, and that's a good thing, by a good, loving God that loves us all. Even the stinkers out there, He still loves. And we're to reflect that same kind of love, of loving our enemies and all this stuff. But we have to put our foot down. And sometimes, yes, you might have to kill your enemy, but you could do it with love in your heart. I mean, isn't this what a soldier is essentially being called on to do? But he's doing it in the defense of innocence. Okay, in defense of himself sometimes. Dog eat dog. I mean, it's a jungle out there when people's minds have been turned into mush by these elitists, the same merciless gaggle of thugs at the top. Okay, the same group of people have turned our minds into mush. And we don't get how this whole thing works. But we've got to understand it can work, and that we can get together and live in peace and harmony with one another. But the only way that's going to happen is to get away from this monetary-based reality that's been inflicted on us, imposed on us from birth. And that means universal prosperity. Gee, I'm a bad guy, aren't I? I mean, this is what I want for people, and I understand this is what God wants for me. This is where I learned it. It all makes sense. When you understand God, think of God as your divine parents. Well, what do you, perhaps as a parent, want for your children? You want them safe, secure, free, prosperous, content, right? At peace? Well, does it make sense? Is it reasonable to suggest that the Almighty Creator God, who gave us our lives, wants the same thing for us? Of course He does. Does He want it for some or all of us? No, He wants all of us free. He wants all the captives to be set free. And we're all captives to this system. So we've got to understand what we're up against here. And these are some really mean, ruthless people. And the best we can do sometimes is just speaking out in behalf of the downtrodden, those that have it harder than them. And that's why I'm such an advocate for the homeless and the poor. I saw a piece on the local news here recently when the woman had a disparaging tone in her voice. She was talking about this downtown market. It's kind of a branch of the farmers market where it's, kind of a flea market type deal, the downtown Chico area. And just the way that she said it, the tone in her voice about these, the transients were hanging out down at the park earlier here, and it wasn't so nice, was her inference. But now that they've been driven out, it's nice now that these transients, they're transients. They're making the transition between life to death. The same ruthless gaggle of thugs, this handful of people are doing this to us. While we have more surplus houses